It doesn't visually in front of you. You can't see the collapse going on. Like right now, you got plenty of people driving around, going to and from work, going to and from the store, doing what they want to do, going to the club, going to the, getting drinks or whatever they want to do, right? However, let me read right here. Job 21 and verse 6. Even when I remember, I am afraid, and trembling taketh hold of my flesh. Wherefore do the wicked live, become old, yea, are mighty in power. Their seed is established in their sight with them, and their offspring before their eyes. Their houses are safe from fear, neither is there the rod of God upon them. Their bull, it says, their bull gendereth and faileth not. Their cow calveth, which means their livestock produces, it multiplies. Okay, it says, it faileth not, their cow calveth and casteth not her calf. They send forth their little ones like a flock. Their children dance. They take the timbrel and the harp and rejoice at the sound of the organ. So basically, like I said, it might not seem like this devil is going down, but this devil is going down. Esau, Edom, and his whole power structure is failing right now. This is why they're so upset. This is why you see another video. I saw another video of a Christian, okay, and they did a response to that whole IUIC thing when they was down in Atlanta, I think, with that church. And another Christian telling more lies about the foundation of Hebrew Israelites, who we are, what we teach. Another Christian not going into the Bible, talking shit. Okay? But guess what it says right here in the chapter right before that. This is Job, chapter 20, verse 4. It says, knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed on the earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? He shall fly away as a dream, and shall not be found. Yea, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. The eye also which saw him shall see him no more. There's going to come a day when we don't see these devils anymore. Okay? That's really talking about the elect, because the 2/3, okay, they're going to be reborn in the kingdom with new eyes. So the last fleshly pair of eyes that is living and doesn't have to go through death, the last eyes that will remember seeing Esau Edom is going to be the eyes of the elect of this nation right here. Okay? They're going to remember Esau Edom. Okay? But we're not going to see him anymore. So you got to have faith and trust that Yahweh Shai is bringing this devil down, okay, with haste. All right?
This is you can get Isaiah 47. This is going into Jeremiah 49, verse 15. For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen, and despised among men. And that's going into these nations, how the Lord is making Edom the most hated out of all these other nations. These Russians and Chinese, Edom is the most hated. Okay, because once again he's being exposed for the devil he is. Pride. Well, I saw a video like you can go to South Korea. I think it was in South Korea. Jake this Judite was getting praised by this old Japanese woman over there. She was saying that how basically black men built America. America's great because of the black man. And she said that Americans are just lazy and weak. And that's going into some more of that shame and despisement that Esau has on the name of his kingdom, America. That kingdom being America. This whore that and all her abominations are being hated. You got that ready?
Which verse will we start at? Sorry, at 1. This is Isaiah 47 and 1. The subtitle here is The Nakedness of Babylon. It says, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. sit on the ground, there is no throne. O daughter of the Chaldees, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate.
Thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Going back to that, your shame is coming back on you, Esau. You cave the beast, right? You cave woman, the Edomite woman. You cave man. That's. I'm saying that to you, Edomite man.
If you go into Esau's history during the Dark Ages, they called him the wild man. You were actually hairy cave beasts, okay, from the Caucasus Mountains, which was your second cave home. When Jake took over the Eastern Roman Empire, you devils went into basically into a state like an animal, okay, and you were literally grunting and eating roots and shit, living in the caves. All right, that's literally your history. All right. Verse 2, take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers.
And that's your whole system, your whole economy being crushed,
destroyed, humbled.
Okay, like right now, that right there used to not be empty. If this was come back a couple of years ago, that would be up and running over there. These empty ass buildings. You're having more of these buildings being empty, found empty. Right, that's going into Ezra. Four storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Ecclesiastes 12, the grinding shall cease. The houses shall be shut. I went to the mall earlier, the Rivertown Mall, and over there they have where they used to have, I think it was a J.C. Penney. That was where they used to rent that place out in that mall. That's all empty. Okay, then you never would have that in the glory days of Babylon, early 2000s. That would never have been a thing. But why is that a thing? Because now it's all the teats are running out. Fruitful fields are running dry. It's now getting hard to find a job. The AI is taking more of y'all's jobs.
Especially the white-collar jobs. A lot of these Edomites that have six-figure salaries, okay, working on Wall Street, working for banks, working for, normally jobs that are high-paying, okay? A lot of those Edomites are actually struggling, just like Jake on the bottom is struggling now, because their jobs are actually the ones that are going to be taken over first. There's all these high-tech computer jobs, okay? Finance jobs, all right? Those, you can run that off of robots, man, okay? Verse 3, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. Yahweh Shai come back, he's coming back as a God, okay? The shame of Babylon the Great is being shown right now. Everybody's talking about, oh, well, the only reason America is so powerful is because they raped, robbed, and murdered the indigenous people here, okay? The tribe of Issachar and the tribe of Gad, okay? Because they enslaved the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, because they continue to oppress the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, Levi, and the rest of the tribes, okay? Because they steal oil from other lands, they start wars all the time, they poison the peoples, they have a terrible education system. So America was built on robbery, theft, destruction. That's that shame being shown, and now you have all these so-called white people, these Edomites, that are trying to kick back and fight back, but it's too late. Okay, I saw this one video, this one bitch, okay, she was talking about how, white people are the most charitable people in the world. No, the fuck you're not. You're the devil the Bible speaks of. You're actually the thief that the Lord talks about. Okay? Verse 4, it says, go ahead.
Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 6. Shall not these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him? And that proverb is once again what the brother and I are saying. Esau robbed all this, took all this. So not only you take a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that laddeth himself with thick claim. Going into the Federal Reserve, that their federal notes now, backed by the Federal Reserve. Which I forgot what president signed that deal.
That was 1913. I forget what president. I had it at one point.
It's spiritual because that was a day just before Christmas.
Which, by the way, December 25th is the celebration of the birthday of Tammuz, okay, the son of Nimrod.
So this is thou hast consulted shame to thy house. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house. And that house is talking about America and all the shame it has along with it. You can't. It's funny how people try to always do that. They put America as synonymous with freedom and liberty, but it's funny how you really can't even say that because once again you stole this when it's literally the opposite. It's literally the opposite. It's all deception.
You know, they used to talk. I remember back in the day when I was like in high school and all that. They used to talk shit about China and how the government controls everything and China is a communist party and all that bullshit. Which China is under control, complete lockdown too by their government. But the fact that the United States has the audacity to talk shit when they're doing the same thing, you know?
And it says here that he may set his nest and has sinned against thy soul. It says by cutting off many people and has sinned against thy soul. And who are those many people that Esau cut off? Would be the Gadites and even of the other nations, right? Japan when they bombed the Hiroshima, and these other nations that America has stolen resources from, and the people's economy from. So jumping on down, it says in verse 16, thou art filled with shame for glory. Once again, that shame. Okay, the whoredom, the music, the pumping all that whoredom out here in America. Okay, because you can go to Afghanistan right now, or I think even Iraq, and the woman over there will dress modestly. Even if you go over there to Chile, I think on the mountains, you gotta go to the mountains. They wear dresses. They actually wear dresses, and those women there work with their hands. Okay, but here in America, they have OnlyFans. Okay, even China, even them, they even shut off TikTok. I think they shut it off, right? Or they made it.
I think they have another version. I think the United States has another version of TikTok that they control by the government.
Yeah, but over there in China, last time I checked, they have TikTok, but it's not like the TikTok over here. Okay, over there they actually ain't doing stupid dances and having these whores out here shaking their asses. They don't allow that over there whatsoever. That's only here in America. Over there, they gotta come up with some inventions to play with that TikTok shit. They have to actually come up with some shit.
They have videos about science and math, you know.
Instead of just a bunch of entertainment, all right, television. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee. And shameful spewing, once again, that shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. Come. Okay, they don't treat the black man right over here, the Mexican man right over here. That's also part of that shameful glory.
I just seen a video of an ICE agent, or it's actually 3 ICE agents that were harassing Issachar. There was this one Issachar, and he was actually working like a landscape job or something, and he had a heavy accent. You could tell that his Spanish was his first language, but he spoke English, and they were harassing this dude. He was doing nothing but working, and he showed him his ID. He was a United States citizen. He showed him his ID and all of that, and they still arrested him. Okay? So that just shows you right there that Esau has a hatred for the tribes, but really it's not about immigration. It's about it's about the 12 tribes of Israel. They need to get you out of here, man. They need to lock you down. Because if they don't, they feel like that Esau feels like he's losing his majority population to these tribes right here, which is true. He actually is. Okay, you have the Hispanic tribes, okay, which are having a lot of babies in the United States. So the United States of America is becoming majority brown. You know, Judah stays pregnant, even though Eve is wicked and they produce a lot of nigga babies. Okay, so but Judah is a fertile women over there. Okay, in the tribe. So our actual population is actually growing. Okay, but Esau is the one that has a population problem, a numbers problem. So that's a big part of the reason why they're trying to get a lot of these so-called Hispanics out of the United States, because they're afraid they're going to lose the majority, which I believe they actually have already lost the majority. I do not believe, I refuse to believe that Judah is 13% of the population. That's bullshit. There's too many of us everywhere, okay? Especially with Issachar, okay? Especially with Ephraim. Ephraim literally means he is fruitful, okay? So you really think that Edom outnumbers these people? No, he does not, okay? And that's why he's so scared, okay? And that's why he comes out with those bullshit statistics every year, It's pseudoscience. I was on Isaiah 47, wasn't I?
And so basically, your nation's got to get judged, okay? Because all this is also on us, because your nations are with this devil. Okay, you're with this devil. All these kings of these nations, rulers, leaders of these nations, you're hand in hand with the devil. You get that Psalm 83? Psalm 83. Just to prove it.
It's the Psalms.
Because basically, you would think they would come in to help us right now. Well, why ain't, with all the hell we've been catching as a nation, all these tribes, each one of you tribes can look and reflect on the hell upon your people. Being in the hoods, right? Being on the bottom. You being on the bottom. You gotta be wicked and worship the gods of Edom to make it here. But in our kingdom, it's gonna be the opposite. In order to succeed and have success in our kingdom, you're gonna worship the one true God and deal righteously and fairly.
Yep, you got to keep the laws. I got it right here. Psalms 83:1. It says, "Keep not thou silence, O power. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones." And thine hidden ones, those are the Israelites. Thy people, those are the Israelites. And crafty counsel, Elder Apostle Bar made a good video this week, okay, talking about 7 scriptures that prove that conspiracy is in the Bible. That this Bible is about conspiracy theory, okay, but it's actually conspiracy fact, because it is actual conspiracy. It says, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thine hidden ones. they have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance, for they have consulted together. That's called conspiracy. It says, with one consent, they are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, so-called white man, and the Isrealites, the Arabs, and Moab, the Chinese, okay, and the Hagarenes, which is more Ishmaelites. Gabal and Ammon, the Japanese, Amalek, which is Esau as well, the Philistines, which go back to Ham, and the inhabitants of Tyre, which are also Hamites. Ashur, which goes back to the Assyrians. Also, joined with them, they have opened the children of Lot, Selah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, and to Jabin, and to the brook of Kishon, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth, make their nobles like Oreb, like Zeb, yea, all their princes as Zebah and Zalunah, who said, let us take ourselves the houses of God in possession. Now, if we go back to Psalms, the second chapter talks about how the heathen imagine a vain thing. That vain thing is that they're going to be able to stop the Hebrew Israelites, basically starting with Yahweh Shai from the tribe of Judah, Yahweh Shai from taking back power on planet Earth. They want to stop themselves from being in subjection to these people. That's the vain thing that they have imagined. And it's not going to work. Okay?
So that's why, once again, we can't expect these other nations to give a fuck about us. They haven't even, all this time they could have came already and delivered us and defeated Esau's ass, right? And told us we were the Israelites and set us up. They're not gonna do shit for us. Like we already been saying. They were hand in hand with each other. Kim Jong-un, Exai, Vladimir, the Prince of Saudi Arabia, the governor of Iran, fucking even Benjamin, that not a Jew, Mr. Not a Jew, and Trump. They're all hand in hand. They shake hands. They FaceTime each other, have ice cream, and speak on what the next agenda they got.
They FaceTime. You know they call each other up, man. You know? How we gonna stop? We gotta stop these niggas, man. Okay? I know you be watching the elders at GMS. Yeah, I saw that video last week. Elder Pastor Carr was talking shit. I'm scared, man. They talk about the men of the Lord, man. They do.
Oh, didn't Trump say it a couple months back? He said, "Oh, we got to stop them. No more mercy on them. We have to stop them."
Yeah.
What do you think he was talking about? He was talking about you fucking niggas.
There was two. I remember. I think it was 2 years ago. Okay. No, it wasn't 2 years ago. It was during Trump's first term. He said that America was on the rise. He said we cannot listen to the prophets of doom. Who do you think he was talking about? He said, do not listen to the prophets of doom. Now, I started the camp with Jeremiah 28:8, which clearly tells you that the prophets are prophets, the true prophets are prophets of doom. Okay? But who do you think Donald Trump was talking about when he said that that we should disregard the prophets of doom, speaking the downfall of America? He was talking about the elders and the apostles, the great millstone, starting with Elder Apostle Tar, all the way on down. Okay, that's who he was talking about. You know why? Because he wasn't talking about IUIC, because they don't speak the downfall of America. He wasn't talking about ISUPK. They don't speak the downfall of America. He wasn't talking about none of these other camps, okay? Because for the most part, they really don't preach prophecy to these people. They don't preach prophecy about what's going to happen here in America. They don't talk about the MOTP. They don't talk about Jacob's trouble. They don't talk about how the so-called white man is going into slavery. They don't talk about that. The main camp that really does that is Great Millstone and the brothers that are affiliated with them and teach the likewise doctrine. Okay? Those are the prophets of doom that Donald Trump wants to stop so badly. Why? Because we're telling the truth. This place is going to be destroyed. All right? Yep, go back to it. Psalms 83. And we go to verse 12. It says, "Who said, let us take to ourselves the house of Yahweh in possession," which means he's going to take the Israelites into slavery. "O my power, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth, and wood as the flame, setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm." Okay, and with what storm is that? That tempest is that. That's going to be that nuclear wind, that nuclear storm that the Lord is going to send upon this place. Notice how a lot of the times when the Lord's talking about getting vengeance on these heathen, or King David is praying for vengeance, or Asaph is praying for vengeance on the heathen, he's saying, burn them up, light them on fire. And that's really going into the final judgment that the Lord has prophesied. Okay, the Lord talks about the final judgment being the flame of nuclear fire. So that the same theme is carried throughout the scriptures. Okay, that's part of the gospel, by the way. Okay, it says, "So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame." We talk about that shame that's coming on them. It says, "That they may seek thy name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish. That men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth."
That was it?
Yep.
This is Micah 2:10. That's why it says here, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sword destruction." So once again, we can't rest here. This ain't our rest. These other nations, they have all their shit. They have their own shit. They have their own laws. Where's ours? And it's not shaking your ass and going and smoking weed on Friday nights, man. That's not the laws. Your laws is here in this law right here. This is the law. This is your heritage here. The sooner you get that, the sooner you'll be less destroyed. This is Obadiah verse 15. So this is judgment on the nations here. "For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen." It says all the heathen, not just Edom, but all of them. "All the heathen shall drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been." Going back to what the brother said in Psalm 83, that's what they're going to have to pay for. Because ain't none of them, ain't no Moabite coming and tell us we were Israelites. Ain't none of them, no Edomite did that. It was a black man, one of our leaders of our own nation, Abba Bibbins, that did this. One of our own kings that did this. This is Zephaniah 3 verse 8. That's why it says here that Yahweh Shai's plan to destroy your nations. This is it here. "Therefore wait ye upon me, says the Lord, Yahweh Yibahashem Yahweh Shai, until the day that I rise up to the prayer." This is prayer. See here. "For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them mine indignation." Indignation is a righteous anger. "Even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy." That's going to be the missiles. Whatever you got.
Let me just finish off with Isaiah, the 60th chapter. Okay, this is really the start of the gospel prophecies. Okay, Isaiah 60 through Isaiah 66. Okay, with Isaiah, let me just do this verse right here. Isaiah 60:1. It says, "Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord Yahweh shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. It says, let me skip to verse, verse 4. It says, lift up thine eyes round about, and see, all they gather themselves together, they come to thee. Thy son shall come from afar, and thy daughter shall be nursed at thy side. Okay, so preaching about the kingdom here, okay? Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. That's what Yahweh Shai told us to preach and to teach in these last days. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. The destruction of Babylon the Great is at hand. So with that, we can close out. Give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Hopefully this is edified. Give double honors to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone for teaching us this truth according to the Bible. Close out with Shalom and a Bible ball.
How long was that?
That was about